Welcome to the special broadcast on the topic Research Methodology. My name is Zuchamo Yanthan, School of Social Sciences, and with me is Professor Parmod Kumar from School of Humanities.
So good to connect, yes.
Yes, so today the topic chosen for a discussion is titled as Introduction to Research Methodology. This is just the beginning of a series, and we plan to carry forward with many discussions on different areas and topics on research methodology. So today in our discussion, it will be centered on understanding what is research methodology, what is the difference between research methodology and research methods, and also about understanding about what is research aptitude, and like why do we do a research, and what are the different types of research. So these are some of the key areas that we will be covering in today's discussion. So maybe we will start with understanding what is research. If you'd like to start, you can start.
I mean, it's a very appealing topic, when we are thinking about, I think on every day, every passing day, we understand more and more perspectives about what is research.
Yes.
What is research methodology. I think human life is rooted in research. Every day is a new experience, unique experience.
Yeah.
So when we are discussing a thing, and I think all our friends who have joined from various channels, they'll be happy to be able to connect to this. So when we are talking about research, the most important part is that it's a very systematic, organized way of investigation. Collecting information, integrating information, then analyzing that information, and then interpreting. I see something, I observe that closely, and then I put that in some kind of theorization. Just like you have laws in science. You have perspectives in sociology, in a literature background. For example, if a student reads a book, which was written by a Britisher in 21st century, he or she will begin to develop a post-colonial perspective. So that will become a research endeavor. So we are saying, it's a very organized, systematic process of inquiry, process of investigation, where we, with a sense of pre-identified attributes, pre-identified purpose, we will, look at a subject, and then, we will draw some conclusions, and the purpose of research, is also important. Is the beginning and end, is just like that. So to broaden the ways of knowledge, it's like, you'll feel, oh, we have developed so much, But again, perhaps, if we do research, there will be more areas that we'll explore. There will be more areas which will find out, and will contribute to the making of easier, better, and more meaningful life. So I think research is rooted in life. It makes life better and more meaningful.
Yes. I do agree with you that research is all about, it's a scientific and a systematic approach, in finding problems, solving problems, and discovering knowledge, and most importantly, in advancing knowledge. I mean, definitely, once you are able to find and discover certain issues or knowledge, it definitely contributes in the body of knowledge, irrespective of whichever disciplines that you come from. So that way, research is it's a scientific and a systematic approach in discovering and finding knowledge, and most importantly, in enhancing or contributing knowledge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe we can further discuss on maybe why people do research.
When we say that everything is determined in our life with research, so let's look at what is not research. I mean, it's not a random thing, no. It's not just like, oh, just I'll go out and I'll discover the law of gravity. No,
That's right.
It's basically pre-identified. When you get down to do research, you will be very clear. You will kind of set up boundaries. You will have a kind of destination to go to. No, so I think that when we are saying that in research, you have to look at a problem which is a problem enough. No, like I mean I cannot do research on anything. No,
Yes.
First of all, let me identify. For example, I gave you an example of a student reading a text and then looking at how we can read this text and theorize a post-colonial perspective. How I can overcome, say, the colonial kind of that hegemonic design. Likewise, in science background, in a science setup, in an engineering setup, or in a humanities and social sciences framework, we will have different ways of going. But first is, do you have a problem? No, like for example, if I say a sociologist, for example, would like to study the ways of the impact of social media. No. As it is handled by the teenagers, So like a problem, like do I have a situation? Have I done kind of? Have I identified the issue? So like in library science, you may have a problem.
On the same topic on the social media.
Yes.
It could be on
how to have social media and AI frameworks for the purpose of easing the library visitors.
And likewise, psychology will study about how it is impacting the brain, the mind,
mental
the
health,
thinking.
mental health, yes.
Contribution of the social media.
Absolutely. So, like I think we need to distinguish between what is not research and what is research. If you are saying what is research, it means that it has a purpose. It has a kind of way. And when we are saying when you identified the problem, you'll also talk about once you have decided what, then you will decide how. In that sense, Professor Yanthan, the idea of method comes. No, so research and then method. I need to go to one destination. Like one of our Indian scientists visited this International Space Center recently. So they identified a kind of a vehicle to go to that place. So after what comes how? How will you travel to that domain? So like, are you clear in that? There can be 10 ways. There can be 2 ways, 5
Maybe
ways.
I think before we go into that, maybe that we can go later, I think little bit further on maybe.
Yes.
Maybe we can still center our focus on why people do research.
Yes.
And as you have mentioned, it is like
to explore
and also to have much better clarity on certain maybe issues, problems.
To explain certain problems. To describe some phenomena.
Identify issues and problems, so where you can also contribute to your research. And of course, research starts with curiosity, in discovering that issue. And of course, as we have also mentioned, people do research for advancing knowledge, solving problems,
absolutely,
improving methods, methods and professional growth that you cannot deny. People also may not necessarily do a research for advancing knowledge, but to enhance their professional growth. That I think you will agree with me as well.
Yes. Yeah.
And also to have a better informed decision, societal decisions, and also minimizing biases. I think whatever may be the thing, like people do research for all these,
absolutely,
for all these the reasons which I have mentioned.
Professional advancement.
Before we go further, I think it's also important for us to know what is research aptitude. Because everybody cannot play football, everybody cannot be a fashion designer, everybody cannot be a teacher, everybody cannot be a dancer or a scientist, right? I think there is in that scenario, we need to understand methodology. I mean, not methodology, the aptitude.
Aptitude, yes.
Yeah, maybe we can discuss
No,
on that.
yeah, I mean, you see, this is like, I mean, when we are saying that, do you have a kind of clear picture? Do you have a plan? Do you understand the problem? No, like you said that it can be about, sorting out a personal problem or a societal problem. Like, once we have done that, I think attitude and aptitude is very important in the sense that, like, public mindedness is important. Like, we will live for the sake of, I mean, of course, ours as our, personal physical existence is important, but we live for the sake of others with a kind of altruistic bent of mind, and we need to kind of contribute to the making of a better world. So that attitude where you want to contribute to a larger sense of well-being. So that, I think, if in conducting research, that impulse, that emotion is paramount important. That, that will help you. That will trigger you. That this is something that you have to sort out. And again, I mean, if you are talking about aptitude in the context of understanding of the situation, whether you will use what method, whether it will be qualitative or quantitative, that is a different thing altogether.
I think when we are talking about, because this is the introduction to the research methodology, it's important that we need to understand what is research and what people do research and what is the research aptitude. Why I ask this question is because I think it's very important for us to know whether we have the right aptitude. As I have mentioned, everybody cannot become a teacher, everybody cannot become a doctor, everybody cannot become a sportsman, everybody cannot become a fashion designer, everybody cannot become what else? A dancer as well, right? Singer, dancer as well. So you need to have a certain innate quality, which is called aptitude, right? And so I mean, like understanding our one's aptitude becomes very important, because once you know your own aptitude, one will be able to choose their career decision in the right path, right? Because I cannot become a doctor, I cannot choose to become a doctor just because it is a popular career, but I need to know whether I have an aptitude for it. That is called the real interest in that, because only when you have the right aptitude, it will enhance your professional, career. In a way, you will be able to excel much better. That way, your life become very impactful.
Very impactful.
So the research aptitude, of course, it refers to individuals' innate ability to conduct successful research, and one's aptitude helps to discover new knowledge, solve problems, and contribute to advancing in their respective field. And some of the essential qualities or aspects or characteristics of understanding aptitude is, research aptitude is like curiosity.
Curiosity,
right?
Yes.
Like you saw certain things, issues, and you are very curious to know why. Why everybody is so using a social media, and how it is going to enhance one's personal or professional life, or is there any kind of negative impact on the social media, or is it because people are not regularly attending to the classes? Is it because they are so much attached to the social media, or is it because people are not? You are curious to know, whether people have stopped communicating physically is because of the social media, like that. And I think that is also one of the characteristics of research aptitude. Second is a critical thinking.
I mean, this curiosity part, we often talk about Newton. Newton watching that falling apple, like he was curious.
He was curious.
Why this apple always comes down?
Exactly.
So that act of curiosity led to the laws of gravitation.
So this is one of the first characteristics of research aptitude, because everybody will see. Before Newton, thousands have seen the apple falling down,
Absolutely.
but they never give a thought why the apple is falling down. right? It is because of him, the Newton, who is having the research aptitude, that has given him why,
Yeah, that
You know,
element of
the
curiosity.
element of curiosity developed.
Absolutely.
So this is the first characteristics of a research aptitude.
First step in the ladder.
Second will be, it may not be in order, but also like critical thinking.
Yeah.
You are being very critical about. Critical thinking doesn't mean that you are negative. You want to go deeper. To have a deeper understanding of certain issues. You are not satisfied just by the looking at the superficial, information or things that is manifested, but you want to know much deeper. Why it is like that. And
with pros and cons, for
Yeah.
example, like you are not looking in one direction, but you have the both positives and negatives.
Yeah, the other one is people who have the research aptitude are also very strong in observation. Yeah, and it's
Absolutely.
because of the observation that skills, aptitude that you have, you are able to identify issues and problems, and that is, in a way, helping you to identify research problems and topics, and that's how either you pursue in finding answer to that issue, or if you are a teacher, you may ask your students to carry forward in finding answer to that research problem. So that is also one of the characteristics. Another is, I think, patience and perseverance is very important, as you know, because we tend to be very restless, especially today's generation. They want everything, like just on the table, But I think to do a research, you need to have a lot of patience. You need to have a lot of perseverance. I think it's important. This is a very important aptitude. If one has to go into research, having this patience and perseverance is a very important characteristics. Another
it's
is
like, if I may give you an example, Edison failed 1,000 times when he was inventing the bulb. So Thomas Alva Edison, and if you look at all researchers, they have exhausted their lives. Sometimes even in a lifetime they'll not achieve anything, but they will prepare way for others to kind of explore the ground. So this idea of perseverance and hard work, and then the rootedness. Don't rush to your conclusions.
Maybe the other one is like analytical thinking, which you have also mentioned in the discussion, because research requires a lot of reflections, a lot of deeper analysis, So in that way, analytical thinking is a very important characteristics, in the research aptitude, and systematic approach. As we have already defined research as a scientific and a systematic approach to solving a problems or finding an answer to any issues. You just cannot do a research in a haphazard way. It has to be very systematic. It has to be in a very scientific and systematic order. So this is, again, a very important systematic approach, because we may see many problems, example like 10 of us are here and we are asked to solve a problem, given a problem, but all of us may have a different style of, in a way, solving the problem, right? But a person who has the research aptitude skills will do it in a very systematic way. First thing first, right? Yeah, so that, again, this is a very important characteristic. Hey, and then, you know what? Many people, they interchange in the usage of research methodology and research methods. I think we need to have some clarity, like what is research methodology and what is research methods. I think this is important. Would you like to say something on that?
Yes, once you have looked at all these factors, what Professor Yanthan has narrated in terms of analysis, in terms of hard work, perseverance, observation, aptitude, I think then it will come to the idea of identifying the best method. Like for certain areas, for certain pursuits of knowledge, for certain researches, you will find that you require quantitative methods, where you need to look at the situation and study things at a macro level, where you need to say, in a given situation, if there are 1,000 people, you need to go to them and collect their opinions, observations, perceptions through a questionnaire. Like qualitative ways of research, method. In that, you are more about like going out, sampling and making your data, making your sample most representative. Like how once we are talking about quantitative method, and when we are talking about sample, and it automatically the question comes whether how representative your sample is. Like if you are collecting, like generally they say from you have to collect the responses from 10 to 20% of the overall population. So if I have to study Indian situation, and I have to collect I have to theorize certain things on the Indian situation, I'll have to say talk to at least 20% of Indians, 10 to 20%, and like what will be the basis for that? What would be the kind of defense for that? How will I identify the respondents? So like how many men and women? How many people men and women region wise, like because India is a microcosm of the whole world. Diversity is our strength. So how will you factor in, how will you assess that diversity, and then how will you if say like 10 to 20%, and all those factors will come in, and you will collect data, and on that basis of data you will kind of develop an argument. You will propose a theory, you will propose a opinion, like that. So other ways, like you do qualitative research. Qualitative research depends on like studying all the available knowledge available on that given thing, all in terms of books, in terms of journals, in terms of material available on the internet these days. Like we have plenty of digital resources. So like of course in this also you can go out and talk to people, and kind of, but in qualitative largely you develop and for that we do some literature review. We say what are the best books available on that given topic, theme and area, discipline, and then after analyzing that, we say that just like there was a word called critical. Critical is like not just kind of giving into the available stuff which is already there, but developing an opinion over and above that, coming out in like if a text was written 20th century, if an argument, opinion, a study which was done in 20th century may some of the findings may not be relevant in 21st century. So we need to redo the research, we need to reframe the objectives, and then the reframe the findings also in the process. So like that we have two ways, qualitative, quantitative. These days we have mixed methods approach, random sampling. That is a very comprehensive, very exhaustive thing. We can do a separate lecture on that some other day, but for the time being we may look at like whether you want to look at something qualitatively or quantitatively.
I think maybe that we can that is a type that one we can cover in maybe the next lecture. But maybe I think it's having clarity on having what is research methodology and what is research methods becomes important. And the course is also named as research methodology. It's not research methods. And however, many people tend to interchange this particular words, research methods and research methodology. And I think it becomes important for us to understand what is research methodology and what is research methods. Well, research methodology is the total framework. It's research methodology is the total framework that guides the selection and the use of research methods.
Yeah.
And the research method is, just the methods, the concrete steps taken, the steps taken to gather information and seek solution to the research problem. So here it's already very clear that research methodology is just research methods is just a part of the methodology. The larger umbrella is the research methodology, and the scope of research methodology is it encompasses entire research process and approach. However, in the research methods, it's just a part of the research methodology. That the scope of the research method is, it's just a part of the the methodology. And the objectives of research methodology is to find solution to the research problems. However, the objectives of research methodology is to determine appropriateness and justification of methods. So, in a very brief, this is a very brief explanation on research methods and research methodology. We are running short of time, and as I have mentioned, this is just an introduction on research methodology. We are going to carry forward with several discussions and conversation on this particular course, research methodology. So with this, we come to the end of our today's discussion.
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you very much.